Good morning, guys. Hey, listen, this is kind of like round three. I was talking to Lewis yesterday, talking to Sean Stackhouse as well. As the news broke, we were talking about the departure of Bob Chapek and Bob Iger returning as the CEO of Disney. So, since we talked last night, I really started trying to put some more thoughts together. And, also listening to business pundits, right? People who are out there in the financial world talking about this all over the place, from Charles Payne to Jim Cramer to the folks right now at CNN, that at the end, this was definitely a shocker. And that was a very, it definitely was a shocker. No one expected it for a couple simple reasons. And I just wanted to put this on my channel. Just in June, right, Bob Chapek unanimously had his contract renewed for the next 3 years. So something drastically happened between, June and November. And yes, a lot of it could easily be because the stock dropping 44%. Guys, this is huge, right? At the end of the day, I believe that this is the biggest reason why he was let go, right? But what contributed for these stocks collapse? Well, we could blame the pandemic, but we cannot continue to blame the pandemic, right? A lot had to do with some poor decisions that Bob Chapek did. And it seems like Bob Chapek, whether his opinion seems to change a bit, whether it was the fiasco in Florida that ended up leading for him to lose, Disney World or Disney Company to lose their favored tax status that they had in the Orlando area, to just poor decisions he made or poor statements he did in regards to anything from the Disney annual pass holders. He kind of called us the undesired visitors. He also made comments that that Disney fans or parents, after they put their kids to bed, they didn't want that Disney that parents would not want to watch another animated series as a reason of why he was exploring to go rated R. Now, him putting rated R content, it's not, to me, it's not something new. Disney in the past has had rated R content, under their Touchstone umbrella and other brands that they had. I understand that Disney Plus at first, it was thought to be 100% family friendly. Then they ended up putting an age gate up where you would have to confirm that you would want to watch some of the TVMA stuff. When they brought in the Punisher stuff and the Daredevil content, some of the Marvel content that was rated R. But at the end of the day, I totally believe that part of this, well, part of it was definitely the whole Florida fiasco, right? Because that was a lot of money that they now have to pay to the state of Florida because of a favored tax status that they had in the Orlando area, the Kissimmee area. The other thing is just the overall direction and who was the biggest shareholder. I said this last night, and I totally believe that the biggest shareholders here had something to do with this, right? They had to get to the board and say, we will not continue to lose money. We're expecting to possibly hit a recession next year. And if we do end up hitting a recession next year, this is not something where we could continue to lose money as shareholders. Again, this is, talking about as if I was a shareholder on this thing. 44% drop is drastic, guys. Just think about it this way. If you had $100 invested into Disney, it's now worth 64, okay, 66. That's actually, no, take it back. That's actually worth 56% of that, right? So for every $100 you had, now you got about a cool $50, $55. That's a big chunk of change for someone who has, a couple hundred, $1 million invested into a company like Disney. Again, these are huge numbers, and at the end of the day, Bob Chapek was not making good decisions. Now, what will Bob Iger bring to the table? It's real simple. Bob Iger was there for 15 years. He led the company at some of its most the biggest growth, the purchasing of Lucasfilm, the purchasing of of Marvel. All these things are huge, right? Even the birth of Disney Plus. Listen, the birth of Disney Plus didn't happen because of the pandemic, right? The birth of Disney Plus was because Netflix was being very competitive, and Disney knew they had to go down that direction. And this was under the tenure of Bob Iger. So Bob Iger knows how to run a company. Where some companies, and we could go back to 20th Century Fox for many years. It was run by two people, right? It was co-chairmen and co-CEOs and stuff like that. It was Tom Rothman and Jim Giannopoulos, and Tom Rothman kind of handled the creative side of the studio, and Jim Giannopoulos handled the movie side of the studio. But this is the thing, Bob Iger goes beyond that. Bob Iger was able to handle the studio, right? Sure, he had people underneath him, okay, but he handled the parks. This is bigger. Again, there's no other company like Disney World, like Disney Studios or the Disney company. This has so many different facets, from the amusement parks to ESPN to ABC News. It's such a big conglomerate, right? And they need someone there that knew what they were doing, so it makes total sense. Again, my prediction from last night is pretty simple. I totally 1,000% believe that there's going to be some more shakeups, right? I believe that Kathleen Kennedy, two things are going to happen. Either she is given an ultimatum to fix things that are going on in Lucasfilm, which 100% have to be fixed. The other one is she just gets fired, right? And I know that it might not be popular in today's world that, quote unquote, a man's going to come in and fire a woman. Listen, if we're gonna talk about equality, well, here's equality. Bob Chapek wasn't doing his job, and he got fired. And Kathleen Kennedy's not doing her job, so she should be fired. Now, she might get some wiggle room here because she could easily just, point the finger at Bob Chapek and says, I was being done. I was doing what I was told to do, which is a possibility. But the next few weeks is going to be, oh man, listen, Avatar. If Avatar doesn't open big, they've poured so much money into this. And I got to tell you, the PR company, the PR side of Disney, which normally they're an amazing marketing machine. I got to tell you, I'm feeling very underwhelmed with Avatar. Okay, you don't see the billboards. We're literally 2-3 weeks away. You see an occasional TV spot here, an occasional TV spot there. You kind of almost forget that Avatar 2 is coming. So if Avatar ends up flopping, and it's possible, guys, that internally they know that Avatar is not it's not tracking as big as they expected. Don't be surprised if it has a smaller opening than Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. And don't be surprised that don't be surprised if it tops off. And again, might be wrong. I said this yesterday. James Cameron has proven me wrong before. If this movie is good, people will go see it. But if this movie, but they have to do something with the target, with the marketing. Again, the movie is not tracking the way they expect it to. So I think a lot of these things have to do with the departure of Bob Chapek. How much more money can a company lose, right? Again, this is show business. This is not show charity, right? They got to make money, and for the last couple years, they've been losing money. Alrighty, so my hopes as a self-confessed Disney adult, I love all things Disney, from the classic movies to the Marvel stuff, and obviously to Star Wars. You guys see me here on the backside of the Bob Cave. I hope Bob Iger fixes things. I hope Bob Iger makes Disneyland and Disney World and Disney parks feel also a bit more affordable for fans. The prices, the tickets keep on going up. Like I mentioned yesterday, I spend for 2 adult Disney passes, for their Magic Keys. I'm paying $3,200 a year for these 2 passes for my wife and I. That's a lot of money, okay? So I'm hoping things change. I'm hoping maybe they go back to the way they were in 2019 or before. Fingers crossed. But there you go, guys. That's my thoughts on the whole Bob Chapek By the way, he has a nickname, Bob Paycheck, for a while, because everyone thought he was, just looking for a paycheck or looking at how to increase the, revenue. And something that I didn't touch up with, the hiring freeze, the layoffs he's been announcing right before the holidays. Guys, this guy is, listen, if you were going to lay someone off, he should have probably laid people off a couple months ago. But to lay people off right before the holidays, guys, that's such just bad management. It sends such a horrible signal to the shareholders, to the business world. It shows that this guy really couldn't, run a business. But we'll see how things go. Now, don't feel sorry for Bob Chapek. He has a huge parachute, a golden parachute. This guy had a 3-year contract. He's going to get paid. He's getting paid the exact same amount of money he was as if he wasn't there for the next 3 years, right? He's okay, all right? So with that said, we'll talk again. Again, please like, comment, subscribe. I'm slowly building this channel. I've been taking my time. I apologize for not posting so much. It's been a hectic time. And thanks again, guys. Take care.